This is an accident that has gone not talked about by the mainstream media, hardly at all. And I remember the day it happened, getting the story out. Those in the alternative community were picking up on it, and everybody seen it for what it was. There was a big accident that happened in New Mexico at this whip facility. Now, they were downplaying it, so much so that they said nothing was really going on at the time. And they showed a picture of the newsroom, the conference room, and there was like 2 or 3 people. No local reporters really showed up. No mainstream media. None of the big outlets showed up to talk about it at all. Since then, they hardly state anything. Some of you may have never heard about this, but this is the most costly nuclear or radioactive type of event that has ever happened here in the United States, costing over $2 billion thus far. Now, this whip facility had an explosion in one of these containers here, and the reason being is they had switched from using kitty litter to a different chemical compound to mix with the nuclear waste here and all these different elements. Apparently, they didn't test this too well, and that container blew, and it contaminated 35% of this underground facility. Now, when this initially happened, they tried to state that just a piece of the ceiling had broke off and fell, and it damaged one of the containers. They lied boldly. Then they said they were sending robots down into the area to check it out. Something happened along the lines to where the robots were malfunctioning, and it took more time than they were expecting. Now, this site was supposed to be the site that they're bringing nuclear waste from World War II type weapons from around the country to dispose of, hoping that the salt beds will collapse on top of them, and I guess they're going to go through this process over time to where they think it'd be safe for the Earth. Apparently not. Apparently, they've already had a catastrophe here. It is still ongoing right this very minute. And they will not speak nothing of it. Now, they also had shut down the sensors all around this area and to the north and to the east that pick up the radioactive isotopes in the background levels. They shut these sensors down, and when this happened, we knew immediately something was going on. Well, they had a release, and they intentionally shut down all those sensors, and by the time they came back up, they were like, oh, we don't know what happened to all the sensors. They just kind of glitched and they went down, or they said it was for scheduled maintenance or whatever, and it was another bold-faced lie. They later admitted they did have a release at the exact same time that the sensors went down. But see, that was barely slipped out there, swept under the rug, and when no one's hearing this in their living rooms across the country, when the mainstream media is not talking about this, people don't have a clue. So Hanford and these other places that have huge problems are supposed to be sending their stuff here for them to dispose of it. But this place has a huge issue of its own. And who knows at this point? It went from a ceiling collapse to then one container exploding. It could have been multiple. But it's put a dent in their game, and it shows just how dangerous this nuclear stuff is and how far they're willing to go to keep it quiet. They just will not talk about it. So we will. I'll leave a link. It's been Dabu7.